Hello, everyone, and welcome into episode 27 of Conversations with Chris and Cameron. And I'm wearing my No One Greater hat as Kentucky is about to begin their season against Nicholls State. It's very exciting times. We're going to be previewing that matchup, but also talking about the Georgetown exhibition game. And then we're going to get into our record prediction on what we think Kentucky's basketball season will do this upcoming year. But how are you doing, Cameron?
I'm doing well. Basketball season is here. I mean, it feels like we've been talking about it, looking forward to it for a while, but it's officially back. So I'm excited to talk about this one. Exhibition season's over. Time for the real thing.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This weekend I finally got to see my favorite artist perform Knox, so excited that I finally got to see him perform. And now we're going to basketball season, and then of course later this week we'll be talking about UK's upset win against Auburn in football, and then their next matchup in Florida. But that's later this week. We're only going to be talking about basketball, so let's get into it. We're briefly going to just talk about that Georgetown game on Thursday. It was awful, of course, but only an exhibition game. UK, of course, lost 84 to 70. It was not really a close game at all, and just UK's offense, their shots weren't falling, which led to, UK having to play a lot of defense and trying to play catch up.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a game of catch up because we were obviously in it early, but it was kind of they can control it all. So I'm in between exhibitions actually matter and exhibitions don't matter. So I don't really know what way to lean because even with the Purdue win, I was obviously very excited, but I was like, you know what, like well there is a little bit of like an asterisk with it. It was like, yeah, it's the number one team, but and so it's the same thing with the Georgetown game. I've been in Rupp for a lot of like big time losses. I was there when we
Yeah.
lost to Kansas, Gonzaga, and I've seen how negative that place is. The Georgetown game, there was very little negativity, I would say. Like that, I mean, there are obviously people. Anytime you lose in Rupp, that feels completely wrong. You don't lose there,
Yeah.
but I think there were a lot of people that were like, you know what, we're missing a couple guys. It's not too big of a deal, and I don't think not that they weren't prepared for it, but like I think you
Mhm.
would have seen much more emotion and more like different type of comments from the coaching staff and players and stuff if it was a real game and we lose
Mhm.
like that. I just think it was kind of not that we were. I don't know. It just didn't bother me too much. But you mentioned it. It was a game of catch up, and I mean they played really good. Like whether we talk highly of it or low on it from our perspective, Georgetown, you need to be
Yeah.
excited about that. Like if you're a Georgetown fan, y'all looked good. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, I think if it's a real game, it's a different outcome though.
Yeah, I definitely think it would be a different outcome if it was a real game. And basically, like I said, UK had to play catch up. But the crazy thing was, Georgetown, they shot 55% from the field, while Kentucky just shot 33%. And basically, Georgetown controlled the game. And, Georgetown, they were making some tough shots. Like UK defended some of the shots very well. On other shots, of course, they were getting wide open makes. And I'm like, what's wrong with their defense, of course?
Yeah, there was definitely, but on both sides of the ball, there were questions. But um, honestly, the biggest takeaway from it that I was like mind blown for a little bit, like whenever I first saw it, was like the fact that we out rebounded them. That was kind of like the big takeaway for me. But um, yeah, what you referenced to is was the big stuff. But their back court played well. Their front court, like everybody got to the line. And it also felt like on our end. I don't know why, but it felt like every time we got fouled, there was no world we were finishing anything. It was like
Yeah.
we just would get fouled and could not finish. So I don't know what the deal with that was, but um, overall, not too bad. I think we'll shoot a lot better in the future, and yeah, it's just kind of going to be a game that we look back on. We're like that didn't really mean too much overall.
Yeah, and for Kentucky, they actually did lead against Georgetown. They only led 19 to 16 at one point, but Georgetown 17-point second half lead sealed it. And like you were saying, the shooting woes continue for Kentucky. They are shooting close to 33-point attempts so far through the first two exhibition games. We'll see if that continues against Nicholls State, but they went 7 for 30, 23% from the three-point line, and also missed 12 free throws. And that cannot happen come the regular season. I get shooting 33s, during the game if you're making 12 or 13 threes, but to only make 7 out the 33-point attempts is completely unacceptable.
Yeah, that's unacceptable too. And you brought up the free throws. Like that's just missing 12 free throws at home, especially, is just uncalled for. It. Yeah, that was a big problem with us. But yeah, the and shooting entirely was just kind of just cold. It was yeah, 0 for 13 in the second half from three. It was just a bad night overall, and it felt like certain guys like I don't think Jasper will ever be shy of taking a shot, but there were
Yeah.
times that like Cam. I remember one instance where he was just like very, very open, and I was like, "Why in the world are you not shooting that, bro?"
Mhm.
Like I don't. It just felt like it was kind of everybody was getting used to playing without two point guards. Like we played without Denzel, played without
Mhm.
Jalen, and I think everybody was just kind of in a funk, and it just kind of threw everything off. Like some guys that would usually be trigger happy and just pull one right away, but that they
Mhm.
were a little hesitant on some. So it
Yeah.
was just weird overall. The shooting was.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Denzel, Aberdeen, and Jalen Lowe later. Of course, John Rothstein had an update earlier that they might not play against Nicholls State, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But also, another thing I want to talk about for this UK versus Georgetown game was UK had 15 turnovers and it allowed Georgetown to have 23 points off of that. Like, I've been saying since last year, UK has to limit turnovers. Like, that's one of the reasons why we got into big holes last year. Like, UK has to figure out a way to stay turnover free. Like, of course, you're going to get turnovers, but to win a game, you have to probably have 10 turnovers or less, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And it kind of felt like it was just Colin, sadly. Colin still played pretty good. Like outside of a few turnovers, he was getting ripped a few times, and that was kind of where they got points in transition
Mhm.
and did all that. So yeah, without the point guard, it was definitely tough. And well, obviously, you got to figure out how to play through any adversity. So we may have to deal with it against
Yeah.
Nichols as well. So yeah, it was sad to see us turning the ball over so much, but
Mhm.
that'll definitely change, I believe. Like I
Mhm.
said, it's not that it was. I just feel like if we're turning the ball over in a regular season game more, there's probably a much more like the coaches like Pope's probably calling timeout much quicker. They're
Mhm.
probably getting us into something else to where we're not going to have to worry about like calling in a one-on-one situation, handling it. Maybe we're setting a three-quarter court like screen to just get them free or something. Like I just
Mhm.
think they're probably figuring out different things. They were probably just letting them fight through it, play through
Mhm.
it, try to get better from it. So
Mhm.
yeah, the turnovers I'm not too worried about in this one. If that continues into the regular season, I'll be worried about it.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't continue through the regular season because I know last year UK struggled with that along with the physicality, but I was pretty impressed by Otega Away. He led UK, he had 17 points, but I thought the most impressive thing for him was he went 8 of 11 from the free throw line. Of course, UK struggled throughout the whole game to make free throws, but Away, he's been off and on with his free throw shooting, and it was great to see him go 8 for 11. Of course, you would love to see him go 11 for 11 or better than that, but only to miss 3 free throw attempts out of the 11 you shot was pretty impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. That's definitely impressive. And yeah, that was the good thing because like he continued to get to the line. So they
Hmm.
were very, very necessary, or it maybe could have gotten ugly. But yeah, Owe, I was literally with my friend at the game and it's like what me and you always talk about, like he like wakes up and gets double digits. Like he hit
Yeah.
like 10 and it was like, man, I don't even really remember like these points. And yeah, he ends up with 17. It's just
Uh,
he's unbelievable.
mhm.
So yeah, hopefully the success at the line for him continues and hopefully the team can follow that as we get into the season.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about a couple of other players. We'll get into Georgetown with some of their players that went off, but Mo Diabate, another great game for him. He had 13 points and 7 rebounds, so impressed with him. And like I said, he does the dirty work for UK. Like he doesn't have to do a lot, just rebound and defend and score if he has to. But still impressed with Mo Diabate. Colin Chandler had 11 points and 7 rebounds, but struggled from deep, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, and hopefully he can get more confident from there.
Yeah, for sure. Mo D, yeah. I mean, you called it in like June, maybe. You're like, that's my guy. Like I remember you saying like that's gonna be. I mean, you referred to him as like a Draymond type back then, and like now people are seeing it where
Mhm.
we got to see it when he was wearing crimson last year,
Mhm.
and now he's in the blue, and it's perfect. Like it's everything that we
Yeah.
were missing on last year's team into one player. It feels like he's diving on the floor, he's boxing out guys that frankly are just much larger than him, but he's still getting boards over them. So
Mhm.
yeah, he like you said, he does all the dirty work, does all the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. So I think he'll be awesome and do that for us all year. But yeah, you mentioned Colin. Um, yeah, not the best shooting night. Like
Mhm.
just putting it honest. Like I felt at times that he was like rushed.
Yeah, Chris.
I don't think that he's gonna. I feel like once the guards are back, he's gonna be in much more of a like off ball scoring role where he's able to move and uh I mean he does know the offense pretty well. Obviously, he's been in 2 years, so I think he'll be fine once the season gets here. I think it was just that role that he had to play that night. It was just like
Mhm.
chaotic for him.
Yeah, it was definitely chaotic. Another player I was impressed with, even though he didn't do too much, was Brandon Garrison. Like that 3-point shot he made, it looked so much better compared to last year. Like it looked so much smoother. It looked like he was confident in that shot, and hopefully he can continue to do that. I'm not asking him to shoot a lot, but 2 or 3 point attempts per game. If you make one or two out those three attempts, like that's fine. But I was really impressed with Garrison's 3-point shooting whenever he made that one. He had 8 points and 4 rebounds.
Yeah, yeah. If we can get that BG, I think we'll be okay. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, between him and Malachi, they both had a three. They both like. I think they'll be able to play off of each other a lot this year. Where we'll be able to stay like fresh, keep fresh legs out there. And
Mhm.
those two guys, I thought played well. They play well to like together too, where they can kind of just rotate and
Mhm.
take the minutes of somebody else like that's coming out. But yeah, you mentioned BG's shot. I definitely feel like he's getting more familiar and like
Mhm.
he looks much more comfortable this year. It felt like at times last year he was like a chicken with his head cut off. He's just running
Yeah.
all around and like. But now this year it feels like he is playing more of a veteran role and like he just understands the offense to
Mhm.
another level.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about what Brandon Garrison and Jasper Johnson had to say before the upcoming game against Nicholls State. But talking a little bit more about Georgetown, then we'll talk about what Brandon Garrison and Jasper Johnson had to say. But Georgetown, they went off. Malik Mack had 22 points, 9 of 16 shooting. And then Kobe Lewis had 19 points, 8 of 13 shooting. And then the role players for Georgetown, they shot 55% overall and, kept UK's defense scrambling.
Yeah, I remember mentioning Malik Mack in the like the preview of it and I was like, man, like I remember watching like during the game and I was like, dang, dude, he's just cooking. Like we talked about Malik Mack, we talked about KJ Lewis, all that, and then um yeah, it was just kind of they did whatever they wanted. I mean, late in the game, I remember Malik Mack a few times. He was just kind of getting an ISO with Trent Noah on him, and he just went after him. So, and that's another thing. I think like in the regular season, if that matchup type like continues to happen over and over, they're probably figuring out something. They'll call a timeout, do something like whether we go zone real quick or something. Like I feel like they're just not going to let that happen. So that
Yeah.
was another thing that I noted. But yeah, their guards played good. You mentioned the role players, like they have depth and they used it and they all played well in my opinion.
hmm Yeah, but let's get into what Jasper Johnson and also what Brandon Garrison had to say about, the two exhibition games and then, of course, the upcoming game against Nicholls State. So Jasper Johnson, he basically called the Georgetown loss a learning lesson, says there are highs and lows that come with basketball, and he still believes Kentucky is still the best team in the country, and he is really motivated to prove it. That's what I love to hear whenever the media was asking him questions about this year's team.
Oh yeah, those are definitely the right things to say for sure. And I love that mindset from Jasper where it's like I'm sure like to a player, anytime you lace it up and step on court with anybody, it's kind of like, all right, this is business. But
Mhm.
then again, it doesn't go, you're still 0-0. So
Mhm.
I do like that mindset for him, and everybody should have that mindset as
Yeah.
of right now.
Yeah, and I felt like during the Georgetown game he was rushing stuff, like taking shots that he really shouldn't necessarily have taken that shot and, passed the ball instead. And what he has learned since that game was, just being able to value every possession after the film review. And, the staff was also saying that they loved his creativity and scoring that he can bring to UK.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he had that crazy spin play. He'll definitely have some unique,
Mhm.
I mean, Rob Dillingham like plays. So like that's definitely going to be a bright spot for us where he'll bring a spark at times and he'll have some fun plays, whether it's a sidestep three or something. But he's definitely going to be exciting nonetheless this year.
Yeah, for sure. And then he also added that the team's focus isn't sharper since the law's practices are competitive and everyone understands the assignment and the assignment is to understand it's to win number nine.
Oh, you cut out a little bit right there.
Oh,
Uh, but I did hear you say, yeah, the assignment that all starts now with Nichols too. So like
yeah.
this will be the beginning, like the saying for main college basketball is the road starts here, but just the beginning of the road for number 9. So I love that mindset. I just hope that it doesn't become like, not that I need everything like one game at a time, but I do want to like see these guys focus on Nichols. But it's
Mhm.
just a stepping stone to number 9.
Yeah, it is a stepping stone to number nine, but he says that he still feels confident about Kentucky and he's focused on winning, not his personal stats whenever he was asked that. He also added that he does not get nervous, no butterflies during the game. He's like, every game is the same, like no nerves at all.
Yeah, it's a great perspective to have, especially a dude like that, where it's just like he's shifty. He can really, there's literally no limit to his game. So having no butterflies, no nervousness with him, like it's a dangerous thing for other teams because there's not really going to be a road arena impact him like mentally.
Yeah, and you know what he was saying though, that he was saying that his dad, Denison Johnson, is the only person that can get into his head during games. So he's like his dad is going to be sitting up way in the bleachers, so he doesn't have to be like saying anything to Jasper during the game, which I find insane. I get it, it's his family member, but he's like the only person that can get into my mind is my dad.
Hey, Pops knows, man. He knows what to say to get under your skin, get in your head. So that is awesome though that they'll be like, he said that he'll be like sitting away for a little bit from him.
Yeah, apparently his dad, like, whenever he messes up, he'll whistle or something with his like mouth or whatever. So I'm like, wow, that must be a loud whistle, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. If we're at a game and we hear a whistle, we'll know exactly where it's coming from.
Yeah, where it's coming from for sure. Hey, it's his first game though, he's attending because he was able to attend the exhibition game. So hopefully Dennis and Johnson will enjoy the first game, first regular season game, and hopefully UK can get a win and Jasper and Johnson plays well for his dad.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully it's a like a bump with Pops being there. Hopefully it's like a little good luck charm.
Yeah, but continuing to talk about the freshmen though, Johnson also praised the freshman development, says they are ready for the season. I'm interested to see how UK does. Of course, you got Malachi Marino, Braden Hawthorne, and then you've got also other newcomers. You've got Andrea Yelovich, who's technically actually listed as a sophomore instead of a freshman. So we'll see how he does along with the other newcomers though.
Yeah, I mean, with that list of guys, like I've been pleased with Yelovich so far, but I think I've been most impressed with Malachi. Like he's
Yeah.
just looked very, very good. He's filled out and he's still got a little like slim in him where it's like at times I think there will be physical guys that can kind of dictate what they want to do in those. But like Jasper, I think we kind of knew he's still impressed me for sure. But Malachi was one that I think I don't speak for myself with this, where we were a little bit worried just coming in because of what we saw, what he looked like in high school. But that staff, the training, the everybody with him has just done an incredible job, and he's looked really good so far.
Yeah, he definitely has for sure. And just talking a little bit more about Jasper Johnson, we'll transition to Brandon Garrison, but he basically told everybody to not overlook Nicholls State. He calls them hungry, well coached, and dangerous. And it's just going to be interesting to see what UK will do against Nicholls State. Like, I haven't looked at the odds, but I would not be surprised if we're not like 20.5 point favorites or more.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but I hope it's something like that, and hopefully it's a comfortable cover. The one thing that I mentioned with this team and how it was constructed, like back in the spring, was just that like the defense is going to be there for us. So like I want to be able to, not saying that we need to come out right away and just beat this team by 70, but like there were times last year where we would put up 110 in a game, but we'd also give up like 60. I want to see. No, I still want to see the fireworks on the offensive side of things, but I really want to see the defense kind of hold these inferior teams to 40 and 50 instead of having to not be worried about the game, but they're still putting up like 60 where you can kind of tell a good team's going to be able to put up a lot on us.
I just looked, we'll talk more about this, but the spread is 29.5.
29 and a half. Okay.
So it's about
That's
10
that's
points
more than
off
I
when
thought.
I said 20.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
it was just a guess though. We don't really, well, I wouldn't say we're super, super knowledgeable on Nichols.
yeah.
So I don't think we can just guess that.
Definitely not. But talking a little bit more about Jasper Johnson, he says that he's comfortable playing on or off the ball. He loves playing point guard because he feels like he's the leader of the team whenever he gets that chance and everything. But another thing Mark Pope has instilled into him and then other players the value of cutting and just ball movement, which helps to expand anybody's game. Like you saw that last year with Kobe Bryant, like how great he was just from cutting inside from the 3-point line to the paint and getting dunks or whatever it might be.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was an underrated part of Kobe's game for sure, was like his finishing and stuff. But that was another thing that not even like just me personally, you could hear people all around the arena with the Georgetown game just mentioning like we just be standing there. And I don't
Mhm.
think that's part of me where I'm just like it's not that's we won't see a whole lot of stalled out offensive sets. Like we'll never see guys just standing around or whatever. Like whether we have a point guard or not. Even when we were down guys last year, you still saw fluid offense, everybody moving,
Mhm.
everybody cutting. So
Yeah.
I definitely, yeah, Jasper highlighted the cutting and everything. I think that's going to be a big part for him and others this year.
Yeah, and just talking a little bit more about Johnson being the leader whenever he has to play point guard. He also credits Denzel Aberdeen and Jalen Lowe for their mentorship and sideline tips. Basically, he was saying that they were a huge help on the sidelines. Of course, they didn't play against Georgetown, but they really helped Johnson and then the other players.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what you need out of your point guards to be able to lead even when they're not in
Mhm.
the games, and that you can have guys that point back to your leadership. So I love to hear that from the young and talking about the vets.
Yeah, for sure. And then to wrap up Johnson, then we'll get into Brandon Garrison, then talk a little bit about Nicholls State, not too much, and then get into the season preview. But he basically said, Johnson basically said that he felt like he let the whole fans down whenever they lost to Georgetown. But he also said that it was refreshing to play against actual opponents than compared to just playing against each other during practices the whole time.
Yeah, I mean these dudes been battling against each other, so I'm sure it was nice to just see another name on a jersey. Um, but no, I think nobody's disappointed. I know that from a player's perspective, you just want to go out there and win and dominate every single game, but yeah, no, I don't think anybody's holding on to a Georgetown loss. I think people moved on from it
Yeah.
very, very quickly. So I'm excited just for the real thing. I think we'll get to see a fun,
Mhm.
exciting Jasper all year. And so if he does feel like he disappointed anybody, he's gonna make up for it and some this year.
Yeah, I agree with you about that. But let's get into Brandon Garrison, preview Nicole State just for a little bit, and then, of course, talk about season predictions. So, Brandon Garrison says this opener feels just like last year's first game for him, but he's more excited and more locked in going into the year. I mean, it makes sense. You're the starting center currently, of course, with Jaden Quayton's out, and at this time, he's trying not to overthink about his starting role being the center. So that's great to hear that he's not trying to overthink and he's just trying to do, what's great for the team, whether it be getting assists, rebounding, blocking shots, whatever it might be, like just helping the team out.
Yeah, definitely don't need him overthinking anything at all. And um, like I said, I think naturally he just feels more like comfortable in this offense and everything. So I love to hear him kind of voice that too, that he's not getting overwhelmed with it. Because I mean, we do need him. I know
Yeah.
Malachi's been good, but like we need a good
Mhm.
Brandon Garrison to get us through this. I mean, we don't play an easy schedule by any means. So
Yeah.
definitely need BG to lock in, and he's been good for us so far. So I hope
Mhm.
it continues.
Yeah, I sure hope so too. And then he also was saying that he admits Georgetown hit us in the mouth, calls it a wake-up call, and he also added that the defensive focus has improved since big steps have been made in practice, and basically saying that the film session with Mark Pope was harsh but needed, and the team has learned and moved on from it.
Yeah, I mean that's good stuff. That uh, yeah, the film session. I'm sure it was interesting. Like I would say, to say the least. Like, um, yeah, coming from that game, that's obviously for a player's perspective. Like you got to be able to move on from it quickly, look forward towards. Which in this case, it's just the actual season. So I'm glad that there was nothing like no hiccups coming from that game.
Yeah, and he also added that practice was normal but intense after the Georgetown game. So I'm glad that at least the practice was normal and like no players were really too upset or heated during practice, like causing issues or problems.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm glad there's certainly not any egos from what we can see on this team or anything. So like obviously it was a mix of a bunch of different guys. It wasn't necessarily like one player played bad, but I'm glad it was back to just straight routine and normal stuff from there.
Yeah, and then let's get into a little bit about Nicholls. He was talking about that Garrison calls them physical, they have shooters, and they are hungry for a win. And, it's going to be interesting to see how UK matches up against Nicholls State. Of course, like I said, UK should dominate the game, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, anytime that somebody gets to play at Rupp, we saw it last year with that dude. Who do we play? Was it who were we playing with the guy, the white dude that was like super physical, got a tech or something? What
Oh,
team
I
was that?
know.
Was that Georgia State?
I believe it was in Georgia State. It was Peter something, I think. I'm,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
He
blanking.
grew up a Duke fan or something. But like those are the things that you'll see. I'm not saying like Nichols is going to come in and play dirty or something, but that's what you see like when somebody gets to come into Rupp and play that name on our chest. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be, they're going to do all that they can to stay in it and end up having a shot to win it. So yeah, I think the physicality is going to be one of those things that we'll definitely have to watch for in this one.
Yeah, for sure. But he also talked about Lowe and Aberdeen, Garrison did, and he was basically saying other people stepped up in their absence. But he praises Aberdeen's leadership and says both are putting in extra work to get back on the court, of course. But it'll be interesting to see if Aberdeen and Lowe will also play against Nicholls State.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Fingers crossed. But obviously,
Hmm.
just need them fully healthy. So if we do have to go into this one and not have both of them, then I think we'll be fine. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, got to get those boys healthy. And
Hmm.
you mentioned that he said he was talking about Denzel's like recovery and everything. So
Hmm.
yeah, got to get those boys back. Hopefully they can play, but if not, I'm not too worried about it.
But he did also pray, he also had high praise for the freshmen, believes that they'll deliver big wins this season. And we'll definitely need the freshmen this upcoming year coming off the bench, whether it be Jasper Johnson, Malachi Marino. Like, it'll be interesting to see, who steps up for UK, whether it be, an upperclassman with Jalen Lowe will take it away, or Brandon Garrison, or Diabate, or, an underclassman with Jasper Johnson, or Colin Chandler, or Malachi Marino.
Yeah, I think there's going to be big moments for those guys. Like Jasper, especially, I think Malachi at times, especially before JQ's back. But
Mhm.
those guys are going to find their way on the court no matter what. And
Yeah,
I do think that they'll probably have big impacts in some of our games that we end up winning.
yeah, for sure. And then talking a couple more things about Garrison. He says the exhibition games will definitely have helped to play against real competition. Of course, Nicholls State, the first regular season. He also noted that this year's team is more physical and competitive compared to last year, and practices have been heated before. And he said that. There has been some stuff that have happened during practices, so it makes me wonder. I'm like, what exactly has happened during practices to be so heated?
Yeah, and but honestly, I love to hear that because I remember Willie Cauley Stein talking about the 14-15 team that was like the same type of thing where it would get heated, stuff would happen in practice, and it was like there was a little chippiness to it. So you got to love that, and it's also only going to help you. Like as long as it stays under a certain level, like you're only going to be able to grow from that. So
Mhm.
love that the practices are super physical, and it's only going to benefit the team overall.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what will exactly happen for sure. And he also talks about how himself and OA they have taken more of a leadership role this year. Of course, OA was out 10 weeks during practice, but he's back fully healthy. And basically, he was also adding that OA didn't miss a beat once he came back to practice being fully healthy, like he was in shape and everything. So I'm happy to see OA and Garrison being more of a leader and ready to see what they can do this upcoming year.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing those guys come back and have another year in the system and all that is awesome. But yeah, always like a robot or something. Like he just like kind of like wakes up and just does his thing. Like he came straight back while he's still fully recovering from his
Mhm.
own turf toe injury. He's just going out there putting up 17 against Georgetown.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing Garrison says is he's telling the younger players to stay confident and not overthink. And, if they have any questions, come to him or, any other upperclassmen as well.
Yeah, the mental side definitely needs to not be a problem at all for these young guys because like you can get into rough. You got over 20,000 people
Mhm.
hollering at you, good or bad. You can definitely get in your own head. So love that advice from BG.
Yeah, for sure. And he also added that, winning is the priority and personal success will follow because, he got asked, with him potentially being the starter until Jaden Quakins returns, like how nervous is he to perform well to potentially be an NBA draft pick after this year? And just basically said that, if UK continues to win, like it'll be okay for him because he'll be successful. It'll show how much of a team they are and how great they can be.
Yeah, I mean the classic quote from Cal is always just if we win, everybody eats. So
Mhm.
that's I mean that's the truth. Like if we end up going, I mean just a crazy record. We end up going like just losing a couple of games. Like everybody's gonna be able to notice that. You're gonna be sitting there at the top of the rankings. You're gonna be must see TV every week, and you get to ball out in front of those.
Yeah.
So that definitely will end up being true.
Yeah, just a couple more notes. The A fun note to add is Malachi Marino. He's created a team handshake with everybody. I didn't even see that against Georgetown, but apparently Marino has a handshake with all the teammates. So that's great to hear. That Marino is basically campaign and Russell Westbrook there.
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't get to the Georgetown game in time to see the lineup introductions. Is he the one at the end of the tunnel that's gonna be at like at the end to do the handshakes pregame?
I'm not for sure, but like I said, I didn't see on television either. But like I said, that's what Garrison was saying that Marino was doing all the handshakes with all the coaches and players. So that's great to hear at least.
Yeah, no doubt. Love that Mally's like that tight with all the guys that he's the handshake guy for sure.
Yeah, he's the handshake guy. And then one other thing I want to add is I'm just happy that Garrison is still in contact with some of the former players from last year's team with Amari Williams. He was saying that Williams was like, I've got so much free time now. I don't know what to do because, Williams doesn't have to be in class anymore. So apparently Williams and Garrison they get into phone calls and talk. He also felt bad for Lamont Butler, who tore his ACL meniscus. That's awful, of course, but he said he texts him every now and then and prayers out to him. And then he was also happy about Kobe Bryant scoring his first NBA points as well.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, that's his boys right there. That's the foundation. So
Right.
I'm glad he's staying in touch with them. But that's goofy with Amari saying that he's just got all this free time now. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't you be like working out more or going through like, trying to get better with yourself, whether like you're hurt or injured, like getting massages, after the game, whatever it might be. So I've found that interesting as well.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, the guys are performing. Obviously, prayers for Lamont.
Mhm.
But yeah, Kobe got his points. Amari scored his first the other night. So
Yeah.
good to see the NBA cats balling out.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course, if you all also don't know, Alex Poythress is also towards the ACL the same day as Lamont Butler did as well. So I feel bad for Alex Poythress and hopefully he can also become fully healthy again.
Yeah, no doubt. That poor guy right there. I mean, both those poor guys, man, they just have battled through
Mhm.
countless injuries over their time.
For sure, and hopefully for Poitras, it isn't the same ACL that he injured while at UK. Like, of course, if he's fully healthy, UK probably goes undefeated that year.
Yep, 100%, 1000% with that one.
Yeah, but we'll quickly talk about Nicholls State, then get into everything. But for Nicholls State, they're like UK 1 through 5. They can't handle the ball. So basically, like last year with Amari Williams, so anybody can take the ball up, initiate plays for Nicholls State. So I found that interesting because that's a little bit different compared to other teams. Of course, not like UK. UK plays exactly like Nicholls State with 1 through 5 dribbling the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely a lot of versatility over there, but yeah, I mean that definitely, like you said, not exactly like UK, but similar to UK with that, where a lot of versatile players on their squad.
Yeah, and for Nicole State, they have 12 of 13 players are 6'3" or taller. 7 players are 6'7" plus, but they have 11 upperclassmen as well. So they got a lot of new players this upcoming year because a lot of them transferred out. The main players that you have to look for is Zayden Cross. He came from Tennessee Southern, had 20.2 points per game this past year. So like they have some top scores, but they also didn't play in a big conference as well. Zayden Cross, he's a 6'7" guard.
Yeah, they'll definitely have some length and have a couple guys that can score it, but hopefully we don't have to worry about those guys, and we'll just kind of be
Yeah.
rolling from the jump.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just their height as well. Another player you have to look out for is Z Hamoda, I guess he was pronounced. I'm not for sure. It's a weird name, but he came from Sacramento State, had 11.9 points per game, 6'7" versatile wing. Like it's insane just their height.
Yeah, they definitely have a style over there of just super lengthy guys that can
Mhm.
you know kind of play whatever. So they'll be able to do basically anything offensively or defensively.
Yeah, and then one last player I would say look out for Nicholls State would be Grant Sanders. He came from Brewton Parker, 10.2 points per game, and for him, he's a let's see, I'm looking for his stats, my bad. But for him, he's a senior this upcoming year, so like it's going to be insane. Just like all these players, of course, came from small schools, so who knows how great they'll perform against UK.
Yeah, they definitely have a chip on their shoulder. And I don't know what the dude's name is, but I've seen on TikTok this dude probably three different times that he's just posted. He plays for Nichols, and he's just like I don't remember what he said. He's just been like it'll be like him just shooting around or something. He's like so many days until we go to Rupp, and like he just keeps posting, and everybody's like, dude, you're gonna get killed by a billion or something. And it's just
Yeah.
like, but I keep seeing this dude, and he keeps posting. So you can just tell what it means for these guys to get the opportunity to go to Rupp.
Yeah, and they only kept three players from last year's roster. Everybody either transferred out or graduated. So the only three other players that they kept from last year's team is Jalen Sears. He had 6.5 points per game last year. Trey English, 6.1 points per game. And then Sincere Malone had 5.6 points per game. So, a lot of these players that really didn't score a lot for Nicole State last year.
Yeah, definitely a complete overhaul on the roster. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to see it. I mean, hopefully they have some. Hopefully we don't need to worry about it, but hopefully they have some, communication issues with being their first game as well. So maybe that they're still trying to get used to each other and all that. So
Mhm.
definitely a complete new roster.
For sure. And then just talking about their head coach, Tavon Sadler, he's only entering year three there. Youngest active D1 coach. He's only 30 years old, so he got the job at the age of 27, and he's already got it in Nicole State to back-to-back 21 seasons and third place finishes in the Southland Conference. And now he faces a total rebuild with 10 newcomers, 9 from the portal and 1 from high school. And it's just insane to think about how well he's done for how young he is.
Yeah, he's done really well, but now it's like you're getting a real test, like a big time test where you get to rebuild your roster. And then, by the way, your first game is going to be at UK. So he's definitely not going to be ducking any smoke. But yeah, it's been an impressive job by him. So we'll get to see the young head coach coming into Rupp.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like I said, he's definitely going to work himself up the ranks and, could be in 5 years from now, like if Todd Golden decides not to stay at Florida, like 5, 10 years from now, like he could be the next Florida head coach.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's like a new wave of just young, kind of youthful coaches, and he's one of them. So yeah, like you said, he could end up working his way up the ranks and getting big time jobs here soon.
Yeah, for sure. But let's get into the keys for Kentucky and then get into the season predictions. So for Kentucky, I think the early thing is set the tone early, avoid letting the Coles hang around, and I believe UK can do that. Also, I think they need to focus on defensive communication and rebounding against a big athletic lineup as Nicole State. Like I said, their height is insane for this year's roster.
Yeah, no doubt. And then the one biggest key for me would just be it's obvious that there's got to be more shot making, but I think it's very key against a team like this because this is SEC length. So like you'll be dealing with this all year. The length that this team has, so being able to shoot through closeouts that this team has, like you mentioned the height a few different times. So that's kind of the big key for me. And then the rebounding, like you said, definitely being able to find a body early, box out, not have to worry about the boards at all.
Yeah, I agree. But uh, if y'all don't know, Kentucky versus Nicole State, Tuesday, November 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's at Rupp Arena live on SEC Network. Let's get into the score prediction for the game and MVP, and then let's get into our regular season predictions.
Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. So I believe Ortega away will be this year, or not this year's, but this game's MVP, and I think he's going to show out. I think he's going to probably. I'll go with 20 points. He'll score. Like he's going to score a lot. Plus, I'll say 6 rebounds, and I'll say 2 assists for him. He'll be the game MVP, and then I think UK wins by a lot. I don't know if they cover since the score is 29.5. That's really high up, but I do think. UK will score a lot, and I could see it being 92. I'll say, let's go 92-65 UK.
Okay. Yeah, the big thing for me, like whether we'll cover that spread or not, is obviously the guards. Like, I think if they announce that the guards are out,
Hmm.
then that spread probably goes down a little bit. But yeah, I think I would agree with Ortega, but I'll go different. I think Brandon Garrison has a big game. I think
Hmm.
it's going to be a lot of boards. Is going to be the main thing, but I think he ends up with double digits on the board, and I think he's just going to kind of come out and assert himself early.
Hmm.
But I'll go. What was your score prediction?
92-65.
92-65.
So
Okay.
they don't up the spread.
Yeah, okay. That was close to mine. I'm just going to be on the optimistic side. These guys play both the guys play Aberdeen and Lowe, and we end up rolling. And I think we hit the century mark. I think we go 102 to 68 blowout.
Blowout. So
Yeah.
you're going right now that UK will cover the spread.
Oh yeah, yeah. As of right now, that's assuming the guys play, which
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like.
the Denzel Aberdeen and Jalen Lowe play. Let's talk about that real quick before we get into that. Basically, if y'all did not see, John Rothstein basically said that he talked to Mark Pope and he basically said that he's not for sure if both of them will play tomorrow or not. Or now, it'll be today whenever the podcast gets uploaded. But if UK doesn't have them, I still think UK wins by a lot, but that would be bad. Like, I want them fully healthy if we can have them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, we don't need them, but
Mhm.
it would be nice to just kind of get in the flow of things. Not even
Mhm.
just to see them, but like just for them and the team in general to kind of go up against different competition because Jalen Lowe hasn't played different competition with Kentucky. Like he's just done the blue white. So it will be nice just to get them back.
Mhm.
Hopefully it's this one, if not very soon, and they can just get
Yeah.
in the flow of things.
Yeah, hopefully by Liverpool for sure. But let's get into season predictions. We're not going to go into really in depth for it. We're just going to go by each game and then just say win, loss, whatever it might be. So let's get into it. First game of the season, of course, against Nicholls State tomorrow or today, whenever it gets uploaded. So I have that as a win.
Yeah, I have it as a win as well. Also, do you know where Nicholls is?
I
What
do
state?
not.
If you had
What
to guess, what state do you think it is?
I'm going to say Indiana,
It is Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah, news to me. It's in Thibodeau, Louisiana, and
Oh
they
wow.
also
I have
their
no.
uh their website is Go Colonels, but it's spelled like how LSU does it, GEAUX. So,
The
yep,
more you know.
Louisiana through
Yeah.
and through.
The more you know. Of course, the next team I know where it's at Valparaiso, that's in Indiana. You can't forget about the Drews being there. Scott Drew, everybody. But fun fact, real quick, my girlfriend's dad was actually the swim coach at Valparaiso at the same time as Scott Drew was too. So, a little fun fact for y'all. But I do expect UK to win this game. UK is 2-0 at this point for me.
Yeah, I have that as a win as well. But yeah, shout out to the Drews, but
Yeah.
definitely starting 2-0 for me.
Yeah, and then for us, we go to Louisville after that. I expect UK to still get the win. They are now 3-0 in my honest opinion, and I think Louisville does keep it close like they did last year. I just think UK finds a way to win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on the win there. I think the front court's going to be the difference in this one. I think honestly, it's close early. I think we pull away, and then by their 3-point shooting and stuff from their guards, they end up pulling it back and making it look a little bit closer than it was. But I think we not win comfortably, but I think we win in a way that we're like, all right, yeah, we kind of led that the whole game.
Yeah, it's like we did last year. We'll probably win by 8 points or so, hopefully more, but I would assume maybe like 8 points we'll win by. But going into our next opponent is Eastern Illinois, another win. Like, should not be afraid of the Eastern Illinois. Should be, 20.5 point favorites like we are against Nichols.
Yeah, that's the final game of the BB and United Tip-Off Classic presented by Kentucky Tourism too. So,
Woo!
yeah, that one should definitely be a
Yeah.
win. We should not have to worry about any of these.
Yeah, for sure. So we start out 4-0. Maybe we worry about Louisville, but maybe not. But then
No,
we
yeah, I
go,
mean just the BB and United tip-off. We
yeah,
shouldn't have to worry about
yeah,
maybe
shouldn't
Louisville,
have to
but
worry about that. All right, now we get to the State Farm Champions Classic in Madison Square Garden, New York. We play against Michigan State. Last year, UK did not perform well. They played against Ohio State, and I feel like that's going to be the same thing. Like they won't perform well for some reason in New York, and we get our first loss of the year against Michigan State.
well, the Ohio State game was at least a CBS Sports Classic, which is a little bit weirder for me. But I've been to the State Farm Champions Classic for the last four, yeah, 4 years. We've played everybody and then played Duke twice since I've been. I'll be at this one as well at MSG, so I'm excited for this one. I am happy that we have the early game.
Yeah.
That's an exciting key point of that. But I think we'll play fine though. Like the way that Pope talks about MSG, I think last year there were some nerves to it. These guys, especially this is the Mo Diabate coming home party, so I think it's gonna be a big game for him. But I have a
Yeah.
win for us there against Michigan State.
So I have 4-1, you have 5-0 at this point. And then our next matchup is against Loyola, Maryland. Should be an easy win. So, UK wins again. And for me, we're now 5-1 at this point. And like I said, moving on, UK football also plays against Tennessee Tech. So does basketball. Should get another win, Tennessee Tech. So we've got the next two wins right against Loyola, Maryland, and Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, I'm not gonna shock you by saying that we dropped one of those. So yeah,
Yeah,
both wins
if
there.
if we do, Mark Pope needs to be fired for sure.
So what's that? You're 6-1.
I am, yeah, 6-1 right now.
Okay, I'm 7-0.
Yeah, 7-0. So now we face off against North Carolina, Caleb Wilson versus Mark Pope. Of course, we all know Mark Pope really wanted Caleb Wilson. Sadly, that did not happen. He ended up at UNC, and basically, a lot of people are going to look at that storyline. Of course, the Blue Bloods, but I have UK winning this game. Like, I feel like this game shouldn't be close. Mark Pope should easily be able to defeat Hubert Davis and get this win.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping so. And just seeing these colors collide always means it's something exciting. So you mentioned the Caleb Wilson game, but I do think Kentucky wins this one. It's a late game at Rupp, but
Mhm.
this one's definitely like a personal one. Anytime you go up against the Blue Bloods, you gotta take it personal.
Yeah, so right now, 7-1 for me. You have 8-0, and now we go into playing against Gonzaga. It'll be at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. And UK Gonzaga, their games are always so close, other than the one that was played in Seattle, Washington a couple of years ago. Like that game wasn't close at all. Gonzaga won that game, but then of course UK barely lost to Gonzaga at Rupp Arena. And then wasn't last year's matchup in Seattle too?
Yeah,
Like where
last
they
year's
came
was
back.
Seattle. I think the first year I think they called it neutral site or something, but they played in the Spokane Arena or
Yeah,
something.
Spokane Arena. But yeah, other than that very first game we played against Gonzaga, we've always kept it close. But for some reason, Gonzaga always gets up big, and UK comes back. Like under Calipari, they came back, kept it close, but Gonzaga won. Last year, Mark Pope came back and actually got the win. And this year, I feel like Gonzaga will want revenge, and I feel like UK will get this loss against Gonzaga.
Yeah, so the one thing, the battle in Seattle last year was awesome, obviously. That game will be
Yeah.
forever engraved in my brain. So that was an exciting one. But I think this one's essentially a home game. It's in
Mhm.
Nashville. We see what the Kentucky fan base does for SEC tournament. So I think Kentucky wins this game. I think Gonzaga will have a pretty solid team this year. They have a lot of
Mhm.
returning guys, and they'll bring back guys. I think when people see that Graham Ike is still playing for them, they're gonna be like, "How in the world?"
I
But they
know.
bring back some guys that are familiar with the team. So I think they'll be solid. But I think we do end up winning this one.
I sure hope so. Right now I'm at 7-2, you're at 9-0, so you're a little bit more confident than I am right now for UK. Of course, then UK plays against North Carolina Central. It should be another win. It should be 8-2 for me, 10-0 for you, like no questions asked for sure. And then we play against
Yep, no doubt.
Indiana. Of course, the Lamar Wilkerson game. Of course, the Christian Walker shot from over a decade ago that Indiana fans love to remember forever. And you know what's crazy? We beat them later on that year in the NCAA tournament as well.
Yeah, it's a very embarrassing thing that Indiana fans still try to bring up the Christian Watford shot like it was relevant because you mentioned we played them in the tournament that year and knocked them out, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter at all. But this game is obviously a very historic rivalry, but I think we win this one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I got 9-2. You're at 11-0 right now, and that's great to hear. And then after that, we play against St. John's at the State Farm Arena. It's the CBS Sports Classic in Atlanta, and this game is going to be insane just because Rick Pitino is the head coach there. Of course, he coached Mark Pope at UK, and there's going to be so many storylines going into this game, and I'm interested to see what happens. But I do have this as a loss. I believe that Rick Pitino will have Mark Pope's number in this game, and now we're 9-3.
Yeah, I have this as our first loss as well. I just think it's hard because there's a little bit on the line. I don't think it's that like I think this means more for um like Rick Pitino, I think, in
Mhm.
my opinion. Like this is the guy that's like going out soon, like he's gonna be retiring soon, and
Mhm.
it's his player. Like
Yeah.
anytime that type of situation happens, it feels like the older guy wins. Like we saw it with Nick Saban for a while in football, like until like there was 30 games or something in a row
Mhm.
where he had beaten a former assistant or something.
Yeah.
When it's a guy like this, I feel like St. John's probably ends up beating us sadly, and
Yeah.
so that will be our first loss for me. I have us 11-1.
Yeah, for me 9-3, and then we end up conference play playing against Bellarmine, another win. So going to conference play, I'm at 10-3 right now, and you're at 12-1.
Yep, 12-1 for me.
All right, and then we begin conference play against Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Alabama won't be nearly as great as they were last year, but since it's at Alabama, I expect UK to lose this game, and I expect it to be close like every matchup was for the most part, except for the SEC tournament. But I just think Kentucky loses again against Alabama.
I also have a loss in this one, and like you said, Alabama won't be near as good, and I think their flaws will probably end up being the same thing they have been the last couple of years. But this game will be close, like you mentioned, but very, very, very many points put up in this one. So I think we lose it, but I think it'll be a close one.
Yeah, for me, I'm at 10-4. You're at 12-2 right now at this point. Then we play against Missouri. This game is at home. We won last year against Missouri, so I expect UK to win this game, and I expect Missouri to keep it close. But I think Mark Pope and UK's play will, outmatch Missouri.
Yeah, I believe so too. This is defending home court, so it's personal for us. But like you mentioned, they do have a few guys returning off of that team, so they'll be solid again. But I do think we win this one.
Well, that's great to hear. And then Mississippi State, this game will be another insane game. Of course, last year, whenever we traveled there to Starkville, was just insane. But I was happy UK got that win last year, and I think they're going to continue that against Mississippi State. But this game being at home, so I expect another win for UK here.
Yeah, I don't think we lose to Chris Jans. He's a good coach, but I mean, I don't think they're coming into Rupp and beating us though.
So now I'm at 12-4, and you are at 14-2, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So now we go to LSU. It's away, and LSU completely rewrote reloaded their roster. They were pretty bad last year, but I still think with LSU retooling their roster, I think UK will get the win against LSU at Baton Rouge.
Yeah. I agree. I do want to see Matt McMahon succeed, former Murray guy, but this feels like it's kind of his last shot. I think if he has a bad year again, then he might be out. But I do think they'll be one of the bottom teams in the conference, so we should be able to go into these type of games and win these easy.
I agree. And then going into the Tennessee game last year, Mark Pope had Rick Barnes' number last year, except for the NCAA tournament. But I just don't think Mark Pope will have Rick Barnes' number in this game. It's at Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's going to be an interesting game. I think UK keeps it close, but I think UK gets another loss.
I have a win. I think this game again will be a kind of shot makers game late, whether it's going to be Trent Noah, whether it's going to be Jasper, Colin, whoever it is. I think there's going to be a guy that kind of steps up late in this one and
Mhm.
ends up taking us over the top.
Yeah, so right now I'm at 13-5. It doesn't look great for UK currently, but I believe it'll get better on my record prediction. But 13-5 for me, and you're at 15-3 or 15,
16 and 2.
16-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're playing against Texas. Last year, UK should have defeated Texas. I couldn't believe that we did not. This game this year will be played at Rupp Arena. I expect UK to get their revenge, and UK will get their win. Of course, Texas, they have a new head coach this year too.
Yeah, I expect Sean Miller to be
Mhm.
sweating through a suit jacket by the first time out of this game. So I hope Kentucky goes into this one and rolls. This one's got to be a little bit personal because, like you said, we should have won last year, but I do have this as a win for us.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And then after that, UK got stomped by Ole Miss last year. This year at Rupp Arena at Lexington, and I expect UK to get the revenge again against Ole Miss. Like UK, they got down big again, and basically they never kept it close. They tried to in the second half, but I expect UK to get the win against Ole Miss and Chris Beard.
Yeah, no doubt. Ole Miss will be good, but I do have back-to-back lick-back games for us, so I think we win this one.
Let's go, bro. We're on a roll right now. And then now we play against Vanderbilt. Of course, last year we lost to Vandy away, and then towards the end of the year, UK, like it was Colin Chandler's like coming out party, like coming out game. Like he showed how great he was against Vanderbilt whenever he played in Lexington. But this year, of course, we're playing against them in Nashville. I expect UK to get the win, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think we continue the righting our wrongs streak right here. So I have a win against Vanderbilt on the road, a late game. It's going to be one of those late SEC games for us, but I do think we win that one and get our lick back from last year.
Yeah, for sure get that lick back. I think right now I'm at 16 and 5 if I did my math right.
Yeah, I think what
You're
am I?
at, then it would be 18 and 3, right?
No, I have two losses
Two
right now.
losses. So 19 and 2 right now.
Yes, 19-2.
So after that, we go to Arkansas. I want next year to be a two opponent match where one year where we go to, Arkansas and then they come to Lexington. I'm hoping they fix that for next year because only playing one game a year against Arkansas with John Calipari as their head coach is crazy. But of course, this year UK travels to Arkansas Fayetteville to play against John Calipari, and UK will be hoping for their revenge. But I think John Calipari again will have Mark Pope's number, and UK will lose for the second year in a row against Arkansas.
Yeah, the SEC feels like they're doing ourselves a disservice by not having two games for this. I think like last year it did so good ratings wise. I don't know why they didn't do it twice, but like you said, we're down there in Fayetteville. Not the easiest place to play. People talk about Bud Walton Arena like they've got horror stories from it. But when I was going through this, I was like, man, a loss. Like a loss feels like it might be happening.
Yeah.
John's got a great team down there, but then I think this one's going to mean so much to Pope and this staff that like they came into our place and did that last year, and like that's just disrespectful to the University of Kentucky. I think they go down there and get a win in Bud Walton Arena. So I have us getting a big time win in late January in Fayetteville.
Wow. So you have actually UK upsetting John Calipari this year.
Yeah, hey, it ain't gonna be an upset. By the time we're there, we're number one in the country and we're chilling. So I think we go in there and get a win.
We're going to be number one in the country at that time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially if we're what are we 22-2 at this point for me? So I think we're definitely chilling at number one.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my math right now. I'm putting down my record predictions. I should have probably done that before. I put the win losses next to on my phone on what I thought, but I didn't put like the record for each game. But right now I'm doing that right now, and I'm only at Missouri, so I gotta do some catch up on that. But let's get into the Oklahoma game. Uh, I think Otego way he's going to continue to do what he did against Oklahoma. Hopefully UK won't have to have a buzzer beater against them. But to see Otego way do that twice last year was insane, and hopefully he can continue that magic against Oklahoma. Hopefully we don't really need that magic, and he just can have an insane game. But I expect Oklahoma to lose against UK. They're traveling to Lexington for it, but I do believe UK gets another big win against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm hoping the takeaway for like Ortega's big night and this one is not a buzzer beater like you mentioned. Hopefully we don't need that. Hopefully he goes out and puts up like 25 on his former squad. I'm sure there's not a whole lot of bad blood or anything there, but I'm sure it's just going to be something. Also, it's just your former school, so he did the buzzer beater thing twice. I'm hoping now he goes into this one and just balls out.
Yeah, I sure hope so. So I just did my calculations. Right now, I'm at 17-7 on the year. It doesn't look too great for UK. They have 7 games left in the year, but hopefully UK can continue to win out for me and everything. But let's get into it. Next game they have is against Tennessee. Tennessee is traveling to Lexington, and I expect UK to get this win against them and get their revenge from earlier in the year.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's gonna be coming in wanting revenge from my perspective because we'll go down to Thompson Bowling and Food City Arena, and they'll come up here looking for blood. But I think we do win this one.
Well, I'm glad we're both on the same page after that. And then UK will have a tough matchup after that. They are going to Florida February 14th in Gainesville, the defending champions, and I have that sadly as another loss. So right now I'm at 18-8 on the season.
Okay, yeah, this one's not gonna be easy, but I do think we probably lose this one. Their backcourt's not great. I think we'll end up seeing we'll get to see very soon. As soon as we get off this podcast, we'll get to see like what their backcourt does look like. But that's definitely the flaw. The front court's really good, but at this point we'll have Quainton, so I don't think they'll be outmatched. I just think it's gonna be a very tough place to play. I have a loss for us, so that's my third loss on this season.
Yeah, I believe I'm at 18-8 if I did my math right. Could be wrong about that, but we can talk more about that after the podcast for sure, or like towards the end of it. But then UK faces off against Georgia. I think UK will want their revenge against Georgia. They lost, and that was our first SEC loss last year, and I think UK Mark Pope will want his revenge again.
Yeah, definitely need revenge against them. That one was not okay last year, and I think they got away with a couple physical plays and stuff. That game
Mhm.
was pretty annoying, but I think we get them at home. I think we win comfortably in this one.
Ooh, that's great to hear. So right now I believe I'm at 19-8. So got a few more games left. Next game they play against is Auburn. I really don't think Auburn will be that great this year. Of course, they had a lot of returning players, but you have Bruce Pearl retiring, and it'll be interesting to see what Stephen Pearl does. But I have UK actually winning against Auburn at Auburn, and hopefully I'm right about this.
Yeah, I actually have the same. Like this one, I think if Bruce Pearl is there, we're probably looking at it a little bit different. But the jungle's always rocking. Neville Arena's a tough place to play, but I think Kentucky goes in there and wins the close one. I think Auburn will be solid, but not what they've been the last couple of years. So I have a win in that one.
Ooh, that's great to hear. And let's see. Uh,
You have us 20-8, I
something
think.
like that. I think I did my calculations wrong, so I'm
I
fixing.
have 25-3 right now, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix some calculations as we speak. Yeah, I think right now I'm at 20-7. Yes, that's right. So I'm at 20-7 right now. So, like most people won't like 7 losses so far, but it'll continue to get better in my opinion. The next game we play against is South Carolina. Last year, South Carolina, they kept it a little close with UK, but UK, won the game fairly easily. Of course, Jackson Robinson was playing with an injured wrist that game, and that was basically his last game that was normal for him. Of course, he played against Oklahoma, but then after that, he never returned because of his surgery. But I expect UK to get this win, and they improved to 21-7 on the year.
Yeah, I expect Kentucky to win this game. Obviously, it's never easy to play there, but we have some couple good memories from playing in that arena. So I'm hoping that continues. We have some good memories from this one as we go down there and win.
Yeah, that would be great. And then the very next matchup is against Vanderbilt. They are traveling to Lexington. I expect UK to win. They improved their record to 22-7 on the year.
I also have a win, so we sweep Vandy this year for me. Yeah, only 3 losses at this point. So Vandy, 2 o'clock on a Saturday. It's one of those games that you just got to defend the court,
Mhm.
defend Rupp, and hopefully we end up just kind of killing them this one.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And then next matchup is at Texas A&M, and it's going to be an insane matchup. Like everybody goes crazy at Bryan College Station. Like Reed Arena is one of the crazier arenas in the SEC, and I still expect UK to get this win, but it's going to definitely be close.
This one I actually have as a loss. I think it's Bucky McMillan coming from Sanford. They're going to be running up and down. And I think they actually have a pretty good roster. Pop Isaacs, Mackenzie Mbako, some names that people probably know. Like they have a pretty solid team. They bring back a couple guys. They lost a lot of guys to Maryland as well.
Mhm.
Some guys that performed for them last year. But I have a loss as this one as we go there. Like you said, Reed Arena is just difficult. Like it's a tough place to play no matter how good your team is. I mean, Trey Lyles had to hit clutch free throws as on an undefeated team there, so it's never easy. But I have this one as a loss for us in College Station.
Yeah, and then we'll get into the final regular season game. It's going to be a tough one. UK will be playing against Florida for senior night. And hey, you know who UK played against Florida on senior night back in the day? Like what year?
I don't know.
2014-15, whenever we went undefeated in the regular season.
Oh, that's right, because it was the 31 not done or something.
Yeah,
That's right. I
31
remember
and
that.
0, not done. So I do expect UK to get this win, and they finish up the regular season 24-7.
I have this one as a win as well. It's a fun little way to finish the season with a Florida team that'll probably still be top 15 at that time. I'd say at the worst. I don't think they're going to bottom out by any means. So this will be a big time win to finish the year, and I have us going 27-4, 15-3 in the SEC.
Yeah, I have us going 14-4 in the SEC and 24-7 in the regular season. So, my goal was to get to 25 wins. If UK can get to 25 wins, in my honest opinion, in the regular season, I do expect them to be either a low number one seed or number two seed if they can get to 25 wins, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I like that goal. I have us 27-4, obviously, so I think that's definitely a one seed. I think that's a
Yeah.
kind of shoe in for it. But I have us. My expectation is defend Rupp,
Yeah,
especially with the
defense.
schedule that you have. You
Mhm.
have difficult games that'll be at home. A couple of good teams coming in, but outside of those, you have a pretty easy home schedule for the most
Mhm.
part, where you have a lot of games that you definitely should
Yeah.
cruise through. So I actually have out of the four losses, of three on the road, one neutral site, the St. John's game in Atlanta. So yeah, I have us going undefeated at home, and I think that's the expectation.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, if Jaden Quayton gets healthy along with Lowe and Aberdeen, like it changes everything in the equation. If that happens, UK could only lose 3 games this upcoming year. It just depends on everybody's health.
Yeah, Quayton's definitely changes everything entirely. Like the defense, I think people would literally be terrified when they come in the paint and see Jaden Quayton standing there.
Yeah.
So he definitely will change the outlook of the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, and then we'll just do SEC tournament predictions along with the NCAA tournament predictions. I do believe UK will make it to the furthest they've had in a long time, and I believe they'll actually get to the SEC championship game, but I do believe they fall short this upcoming year. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I do think they can at least get to the SEC championship game, but they'll fall a little short.
Okay. I have Kentucky also going to places that we haven't been in a little bit, but I have us getting over the mountaintop. I think the SEC this year, when you look at the conference preseason, it's a three-team race. It's Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky. I have us beating Arkansas already. I think Arkansas ends up falling short because Cal's probably got some dogs to take care of or something. He probably doesn't have Arkansas going all the way. So then I think it's really Florida, and then there's some feisty teams. I think Tennessee is going to be interesting, and there will be some tough games that you'll have to go through. But I think Kentucky will come out on top and will win the SEC tournament.
That would be great, and hopefully it happens because when's the last time we won it? Was it 2018? I believe it's been a while. Like
Yeah,
before COVID.
2018.
Yeah, it's been a long time for sure, but hopefully they can actually win the SEC championship plus win the SEC regular season. Like hopefully they can do both, but hopefully I'm wrong about that. And then for this year, like we all want UK to win the national championship. The apparent number UK spent was 22 million on this year's roster, but I don't think UK will get to the championship. Like I don't think they'll win it. I have them going to the Final Four this year, though.
I am very similar. I have Kentucky going to the Final Four. Um, Guards win in March, and I just think when I was like making this, I was like, we do have really good guards, but if you look across the country, there are much better guards that you can look at. I think like if you're talking just solo guys, I think Donovan Dent, Braden Smith, Bennett Sturts, like the list will go on. Guards win in March. I think we have good enough guards to make it there, but I think when you get there, there will be elite competition. I'm not saying that we can't win the championship. I think
Yeah.
that's a very likely
Mhm.
like scenario, but I have us going out in the Final Four. And also, do you have a Final Four like prediction of other teams that you think could go?
I don't have a Final Four prediction. If I had to guess, it would probably be like, Florida again, probably like Houston, Purdue would be probably like my top four, and Kentucky, of course, but it would probably be like Florida, Houston, Purdue, and Kentucky if I had to guess.
So I had one because I do my own like podcast, I have my own social media and different stuff. And my prediction was it's ironic how it ended up because I have Houston and Purdue, which feel like two pretty safe locks
Yeah.
overall. And then I have Kentucky, but then the other team in it is ironically BYU. I think like it's just gonna be hilarious. I have them
Yeah.
on an opposite side. Like I don't know how to they could all end up in the same region, who knows? But I had in my prediction Kentucky losing to Houston in a battle. So
Yeah.
but it was funny when I did it and I was like BYU and Mark Pope versus BYU. I was like, this is crazy.
They're going to have a crazy team this upcoming year.
Yes, they'll be very, very good. And honestly, I mean, people talk about Kentucky spending the money. They were not shy with it either. They have a three-man rotation. They're three guys. They have a big three that's making like over at least 12 million. Just those
Oh,
three alone. And who knows what the rest of the roster costs.
yeah. Rob Wright, of course, AJ DeBansta, like it's going to be insane.
Yeah. Richie Saunders too. I mean, he's Big 12 player of the year or
Yeah.
preseason player of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be insane for sure, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how the regular season goes. Of course, tip-off began today, so we're about to watch some college basketball before we go to bed, but a lot of great college basketball games tonight and tomorrow for sure, and hopefully UK can get the win against Nicholls State. We both believe they will, but I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
Nope. I'm glad college basketball is back. I was up and watching that Queens versus Winthrop game this morning, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely excited it's back. But I'm glad Kentucky basketball is back. We got the big dogs playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I got the big dogs playing tomorrow for sure. But no, we appreciate you all watching on YouTube and of course listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But this is Chris Feasmore and
And Cameron Waddle,
we're signing out. Have a great week, everybody.
go Cats.
Go Cats.